Hello, everybody. Another week. I'm pleased to say that no individuals are infected, that the number of staff isolating is very, very minimal. I think it was down to probably one member of staff who was home-based. There were a couple, I think there was somebody on training. So that's all good. Our short-term absences are running quite high, which is very disappointing. It happens at times, but it's not fair, obviously, when a member of staff doesn't turn up, doesn't give us a warning, is taking an unauthorized absence in any way, because that obviously impacts on the individuals. Less so on the individuals, but more actually on their staff, on other staff, their work colleagues, because they pick up the extra shifts and so on, which is not fair when people are, people just don't necessarily want to do that all of the time, and they don't want to be presumed upon. But we do everything to absolutely mitigate the impact of that. But we're very aware of it, and as you can see, it's very much a focus of what we do. Basically, COVID is sort of under control to the extent that we are being very careful about everything that we do. The protocols around visiting have actually been made more difficult by government. We're looking at all of that stuff. We don't think a lot of it's really relevant to our sector and the individuals that we support, but the law is the law, so we're really challenging this right at this moment. And I know that I'm on a call next week to the department, and I will obviously be reiterating all of that at that time for what it's worth. But we're right at the forefront of challenging all of these things, and it's just an ongoing situation. And I know I was being criticized before for being too political. You cannot not be political in these situations where our loved ones are not being properly sort of identified for the right levels of support and the right ability to go out into the community and so on, and they're just being lumped in with everybody else. It's really not right, and that's why we are political about it. We take a very strong view that it's not right, so somebody's got to shout out, and there are a lot of other people shouting out about it as well, which is good. So that's all good. I just really want to just say on the AstraZeneca jab, I think it's the most amazing piece of kit that's been designed and developed. The reality is that you are as safe taking the AstraZeneca jab as going on a long-haul flight. The incidents of blood clotting are no different as a long-haul flight, and certainly I know very few people who won't go on a long-haul flight. I don't know anybody who won't go on a long-haul flight with the expectation of a holiday at the end of it because they're worried about blood clotting in their legs or wherever it would be. So, the expectation of taking an AstraZeneca jab is, or any jab is, that, oh my God, we're going to get our freedom back. So I can't see that getting your freedom back and not infecting somebody else, somebody you love, or somebody you come into contact, is any less than the expectation of a long haul flight and a holiday at the end of it. So that's that. It's also, as I understand it, it is a quarter of the likelihood of falling down the stairs. I think it's something like 1,200 or over 1,000 people die every year from falling down the stairs. If everybody had an AstraZeneca jab, then the likelihood, as I understand it, of blood clotting is about 250 people across the whole population if everybody had it. And if you then as I understand it, only one person out of every 4 would sadly go on to die. So on that basis, it's a very small number of people. It's very sad if you're that person, but I thought there was a very brave sister who was a pharmacist talking about her brother who sadly did die. But as she said, absolutely rightly, is that, you've got to take these jabs. I think anybody who doesn't, I think you're looking at the wrong fear in a way. I think that it's incredibly liberating. It's already saved about 10,000 lives, I believe. The statistics are in the UK alone. It's allowed so much to happen. It's fantastic. We should not allow the statistics in any way to diminish the value of what we've got. It does sound sensible where you have a lower level of risk for people who are under 30 of actually dying from COVID, to give them another option as opposed to the AstraZeneca, except for our sons and daughters, because our sons and daughters from the age of 18 to I think it's 34 are 30 times more likely to die than the average population based on if they get COVID. So the risk is completely in reverse in that situation, that if you're in that age group with learning disabilities, you are more likely to die, as the statistics show. So my feeling is, and I'm very sure, that have an AstraZeneca's jab if that's what you're being offered. Under no circumstances, I would suggest do not have it unless it's a health situation that would be there. So anyway, on that slightly controversial note, but I just really want to give everybody reassurance. I'm having my second jab tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be here next week. I'm very confident that I will be here next week, having had my jab. It doesn't even cross my mind, other than to perhaps have a little bit of a smile and about it with you guys. But anyway, good luck this coming week, everybody. Have a great weekend and see you next week. All the best.